A very warm welcome to the participants from the academic fraternity and other invitees to the webinar on Impact Factor, H-Index, and Google Scholar, jointly organized by the Department of Commerce, Ethraj College for Women, and our academic partners, Miles Education and Wiley. I, Dr. Mala Devidas from the Department of Commerce, take this opportunity to introduce a resource person to all. Dr. S. Gopalakrishnan worked as an assistant librarian in the MIT Library Campus of Anna University since 1975. During his tenure of 38 years, he assisted in developing a digital knowledge resource center at the campus. He was also instrumental in implementing Koha open source LMS package, not only at MIT, but in 31 district libraries and Panamera Public Library on a network environment.
I'll just finish this webinar and call you back, okay?
As a researcher, he has more than 230 publications in national and international journals and conferences. To date, he has the credit of guiding 74 MPhil and 22 PhD candidates. An enthusiastic teacher, he has authored 3 books, edited 10 volumes, and 4 e-resources for the benefit of students. Dr. Gopalakrishnan's achievements are noteworthy. He was honored with the Fest Schrift volume for his involvement in professional research and academic activities published by BR Publishing Corporation, and is a recipient of the Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Lifetime Achievement in Library and Information Science Research Award in 2015. With these few words, I now invite Dr. S. Gopalakrishnan to share his knowledge and expertise with us. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, I invite Ms. Dr. S. Gopalakrishnan to take over the session.
Okay, thank you, madam. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for your nice introduction. I'm really grateful to the organizers for giving me an opportunity for sharing my knowledge on impact factor, H-Index, and Google Scholar. Many of you may be knowing more than what I know. Just I'm sharing whatever I know. I think I can go to the topic. Harish, can you confirm whether I can proceed?
Yes, please. Yes,
I'm
sir.
approaching the topic. I'm approaching the topic in the method of why, what, and how. Even if you are asking a small boy to jump, today he poses a question: why I have to jump? What is the reason? How much height? All these things. Similarly, I'm looking these 3 things: impact factor, H-Index, and Google Scholar. Why, what, and how. Now, the need for impact factor, the need for accountability in higher education has led governments, research authorities, and university administrators to access research performance using a single index or simple index that allow comparison and ranking. When scientists seek research grants, apply for tenure or promotion, or apply for staff or faculty position, it has become customary to include both the impact factor scores of the journals in which the paper were published and the number of citations received by this article, with the presumption that as high impact journals usually attract high quality contributions from top scientists and have a large readership. Publishing in these journals is a top priority for scientists who want to increase their visibility, prestige, influence among their peers. It also improves their chances of getting lucrative jobs, offers, and research grants. Now let us go. What is impact factor? The impact factor of a journal in a particular year is the number of citations received in the current year to the articles published in the 2 preceding years divided by number of articles published in the same 2 years. For example, physical review letters as a 2005 impact factor is 7.489, which means that on average each of it is of its 2003 and 2004 articles are cited 7.489 times in 2005. Let us go a little bit depth on this. We are seeing the method of calculation of impact factor. Let us take that impact factor of a journal for 2019 works out to 7.489 is the assumption. The impact factor calculated based on the citations of 217 and 2018 articles. Let us assume that the journals has 12 issues per year and each issue carries 10 articles only. Let us assume that each journal has 12 issues per year and each issue carry 10 articles only. Therefore, naturally, the 2 years, the total article may be 240. In the 2019 journal must have at least 1,798 references pertaining to the articles of 2017 and 18. Then only the impact factor can have 7.489. The formula that we are using it, impact factor 2019 equal to citations of 2017, 18 in 2019 divided by the number of articles in 2017 and 2018. It indicates that the impact factor is not a constant. It varies from years to year. So naturally, the impact factor will go on rising. Naturally, we intend to raise the impact factor even if you are publishing a journal. For this, we will take an example of a nature journal. I hope so everybody knows about nature. Has had an impact factor of 41.577 in 2017. How they calculated, it's shown this. If impact factor 2017 equal to citation 2016 plus citation 2015 divided by publication 2016 plus publication 2015, and the data it is taken and assume that the citation 32,389, 41,000 adding, similarly number of articles adding and dividing it, it comes to 41.577. I'm also comparing the impact factor for the past 4 years of the Nature Journal. In the year 2015, the impact factor is 38.138. In the year 2016, it is 40.137. 2017, 41.577. 2018, 43.07. This means that an average of its papers published in 2015 and 2016 received roughly 42 citations each in 2017. You can see the growth of the impact factor of a Nature journal. Let us take another 2 examples. We know very well the CA, Cancer Journal for Clinician, is a high impact factor. The impact factor is a 206.85. H index is 144. It is ranked as the first journal in the medical science, and SJR is another ranking which provides 72.57. The impact factor of this journal in the year 2014 is 96.16. In the year 2015, 98.82. In the year 2016, 138.36. Similarly, if you look into 2018, 206.85. So 2019 is coming soon. That means I can have the impact factor of a year after completion of 2 years. For 2019, yet we have to receive the impact factor for certain journals, for most of the journals. And 2020 means it will be more than that. Therefore, we are having the impact factor of 2018. Similarly, Quarterly Journal of Economics, here the impact factor is 12.81. H index is 228. You can compare the H index of these 2 journals. H index is 144 in the case of CA journal, whereas H index is 228. Regarding that, we'll discuss later on. And similarly, in the case of a Quarterly Journal of Economics, you can find for 2019, it is coming. And the starting in the 2014 is 8.28, and it get reduced in 2015, 8.1. Similar, now it is 12.1. If I am a researcher and if I am publishing an article, naturally I will look for publishing the article in a high impact factor, so that this article get visibility among the other scientists or among my peer group. this how to find out the impact factor. Journal impact factor was launched by the Institute for Scientific Information, ISI, in 1975, and has been published annually since then. Initially, the impact factor was made available in microfiche format only. Then ISI migrated it to CD-ROM in the late 80s before finally making a searchable version of it available in the web in 1997. Currently, the ISI provides impact factor data for over 5,900 journals in science and technology and 1,700 journals in the social science through the publication of journal citation report. The impact factor always lag 1 year behind and are published each summer. If you want to know the impact factor of a journal, you can find a URL below in this site, below that one. This is the impact factor of a cancer taken from this URL. The URL www.researchimpactfactory.com. All ranking details to php.id is a 1. That is the first rank of this, and this is at a 4th rank that I have taken from that website. Now, let us see the impact factor, how it, what is the need, why it has to be it is a unit of assessment, it is a purpose of assessment, it is an output dimension to be considered. Unit of assessment is naturally country or institution or research group or individual or research field or an international network. Purpose of the assessment, it is allocating of research funding to improve the performance or to increase regional engagements. Output dimensions, scholarly impact, innovation, social benefit, or sustainability. Therefore, the impact factor, the three different types of research profile looking for. One is a unit of assessment, another one is the purpose of assessment, other one is a output dimension to be considered. Now, the matrix distinguishes 4 assessment methodology. One is a peer review, which provides a judgment based on the expert knowledge, end user review, such as customer satisfaction, quantitative indicators, including bibliometrics, and other types of measures, and self-evaluation. For example, even if I am stating that I am published so much of article, naturally in the panel of members, they will ask, which paper will you like to say that it is a good in your publications? So I must be in a position to spell out the reason, and I also substantiate with the reasons that I have selected that. Okay, so naturally, I hope so. Tomorrow there will be another dimension that the article that you have published, the impact factor for the last 5 years, and what is the impact factor that why you are publishing the article on that journal. That also to become a matter for evaluation or end user reviews. Now we can have the unit of assessment. We have identified the units of assessment. For that, we are looking into 4 things. One is a purpose, output dimension, bibliometric indicators, and other indicators. Unit of assessment, if an individual, probably for allocating the resources, or a research productivity, or publications, or peer review. Research group, the purpose is improving the performance, quality scholarly impact, journal citation impact, patent licenses, and other things. Departments, increase regional engagements, innovation and social benefit, actual citation impact, invitations for conferences. In the case of institution, it stimulates international collaboration, sustainability and scale, international co-authorship, external research income. Research field, promotion, hiring, research infrastructure, citation prestige, PhD completion rates. These indicators, we can have 3 generations. In the case of first generation, basic indicators relatively easy to obtain from sources that have been available for decades. Number of publications, number of citations, journal impact metrics. Second, relative or normalized indicators, correcting for particular bias, difference in citations, practices between You can find relatives of relative or field normalization, normalized citation rates. Third one is based on advanced network analysis using parameters such as a network centrality, influence weight, SCI, MAGO, journal ranking, prestige indicators like this. Hello, hello, Hari.
Yes, sir.
I cannot. My screen is folded because of viewing the others are viewing my, or you are using my webcam. I think so.
Sir,
Yes,
you're
now
not
it
able
is
to hear
started
us,
moving.
sir, please.
Now it is clear.
Yes, it's
Now
clear,
it is
sir. Can
clear.
you just
Uh, the impact factor.
sir, can you switch off the camera, sir? Because
Hello. There are three generation indicators. Already we have discussed. Now we are moving to the pathways. Impact factor, we can have scientific impact factor, societal impact factor, economic impact factor. The scientific impact factor normally for world-class excellence, strengthening human capital, and open science. Societal impact factor addressing the global challenges, achieving their research and investment missions, engaging the citizens. The third societal is supporting policy making. Economic impact factor, economic growth, jobs, and investment. The measurement for these impact factors, if suppose for scientific impact factor, we used to have a short term, medium term, long term. Similarly, for everything, there will be a short term, medium term, long term measurements. Let us compare the scientific impact factor with the pathways on short term, medium term, and long term. World class excellence, number of framework programs publications, number of top cited framework programs publications, contributions to promising topics and fields. In the case of strengthening the human capital, number of researchers participating by gender, age, position type, contract, etc. In the case of medium term, visibility and impact in the field. Long term, career advancement due to faculty framework program publication, participation. Open science, share of FP output as open access output cited, use of open access data. Societal impact factor, addressing the global challenges is a pathway. Number and share of outputs aimed at addressing specific cluster challenges and sustainable development goals. In the case of medium term, number and share of innovations and scientific results addressing the specific cluster challenges. The effect from the use of faculty fieldwork programs funding scientific results and innovation on tackling specific cluster challenges. Achieving R&I missions, output in specific R&I missions, results in specific R&I missions, target achieved. Engaging the citizens, number and share of projects where citizens contribute to the co-creation of R&I contents. Number and share of FP programs, beneficiary entities, developing citizen, engagement mechanism for R&I behind FP projects. Uptake of FP scientific results on innovative solutions by citizens. Supporting policy making, FP projects producing policy relevant findings, FP policy relevant funding funding reaching policy makers, policy document citing. Economic impact factor, economic growth, number of innovative products by type of innovations, IP applications, that is innovative products applications, number of companies supported, turnover growth, jobs, number of jobs created or maintained in the beneficiary entities for the FP projects, increased jobs in beneficiary entities, number of direct and indirect jobs created or maintained due to diffusion of FP. Okay. Investment, amount of public and private investment mobilized with the initial FP, amount of public and private investment mobilized to exploit or scale up FP, normally progress expected towards 3 to 5% of GDP target due to this FP. So impact factor, it has so much of a, use of that. Now we are seeing about the articles. Articles are increasingly joined by sharing of raw science like datasets, codes, and experimental designs. Semantic publications or nano publication where the citable unit is an argument or passage rather than entire article. Widespread self-publishing via blogging, microblogging, and comments or annotations on existing work. Now we are moving to other part of a topic, that is the H index. H index. In 2005, the US condensed matter physicist Irish devised a simple metric with which to quantify the scientific output of an individual. So for my articles, I can identify what is my H index. A scientist has an H index of 10 says if he or she has published 10 papers that have received at least 10 citations each. For the time being, it may not be clear. Let us go by examples. It may be somewhat, I think I can capable of clarifying it. To compute your own H index, you must first identify all the relevant records in a citation database in which you are an author, and then automatically or manually, if you use Google Scholar, sort the records by the number of times they have been cited, with the most cited list first. To calculate H, all you then have to do is count down until the number of records equal to or is no longer greater than the number of times cited. Although originally meant for quantifying the impact and the quality of the individual scientist research output, the H index has been successfully applied to journals, research projects, and entire research groups too. So why we are having a H index? H index is to identify the individual contributions and also quantify the impact and quality of the individual scientist. There is a reason why we are having it. Let us see how to identify the method of finding H index. Method of finding the H index. Assume that a person has published 21 papers. You can find on the left side of the screen there is a number of papers and the citation. Normally, if I'm publishing my first paper, it may not get any citation. I hope so we are clear on references and citation. For example, if I'm writing an article, I will show few references, maybe 10 or 20, whatever it may be. I am referring another person's article. That person gets one citation, whereas mine is I'm providing 30 references. That means 30 persons will have 30 citations. 30% get one citation for each. Likewise, the papers, number of papers and my citation. My first paper does not have any citation, 0. Second paper also 0. Third paper 4. Fourth paper 32 citation. I am proud that my fourth paper is referred by cited by 32 persons. Fifth article, I am proud that my paper is referred by 31 persons. Sixth article 30. Likewise, I am having 21 articles. What I am doing is the papers are arranged and based on the citation. Highest citation first, lowest. Likewise, I am arranging it. I'm comparing the number of papers and the number of citations. If it is equal, it is an H index. Here you can find that 10 papers getting 10 citation more. That means my first 10 papers are as a impact factor. That means it has an impact on the contributions. Of course, 11, 12, 13, 14 also having a citation. 9, 7, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, like that. The total citation is entirely different. two of my papers, three of my papers do not have any citations. But the calculation of edge index is based on the number of papers and the citations are equal. Naturally, the question arises, if my citation is not matching that, what will be? Maybe higher or lower, that also we'll see a little bit later on. We will see what are the other things too on that one. I'm taking 3% citations. Citation A, citation B, citation C. Instead of that, we can have also as person A, person B, and person C. First person contributed 21 articles. Second person contributed 4 articles. Third person contributed 9 articles. So the first person can have a maximum of H indexes of 21, assuming that all his papers are highly cited. In the case of a second person, he can have, even though the citation is more, he can have a H index not more than that 4, since he has published only 4 papers. In the case of citation C, he can have a maximum of 9 citations alone. That means the H index is directly related to the number of publications that you are providing it and also the number of citations it receives. So if a person having an age of 30, having a citation of 33 or so, H index is 33, even on the age of 60, H index is 3. 33. It not get reduced. Here, the 4 persons having a highest citation, that means his papers are highly appreciated, but the person can get H index only 4. Okay, how to overcome this? That we will see a little bit later on. Now, how to calculate H index? Again, we are seeing that there are so many 10 papers. Again, we can find 7 persons citations. First person 35, 34, 33, 32, 31, and H index is 10. Similarly, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here, all the persons are having H index of 10. Now, how to identify which paper is good about that among these? That leads to another question. So the H index, even though everybody is having 10, all the faculty members, those are having H. Out of that, which person's paper is highly referred? That also to matter. Therefore, it necessitates to go for other indexes. So let us see. Here, I'm having that 8 authors, articles, and also I'm comparing this. First author, first paper is cited 100 times, 28, 25, 7, 7, 7, 7 like this, and its total citation is 200. Now I'm identifying the what is the H index of the first person, author 1. I can see that the 7 articles are getting 7 citations. Is a matching it. Okay. Similarly, in the case of second author, that is, it's shown in a brown color. First person's citation is 7. So sorry, H index is 7. Similarly, let us take the second person. Second person's H index is 10. Third person index is 5. The 6 is a little bit, 6 and 7. I'm taking the higher side. 5 is H index. That's a methodology normally adopted. Okay. Similarly, in the case of author 4, H index is 3. Author 5, 5, 5. Author 4, author 7, 4. Author 8, 5. Now, we can compare that H index made me to individualize it. Out of this, there are 3 persons who are getting H indexes of 5. Out of these 3 persons, whose performances, whose publication is a little bit higher. Now, I am taking that, the articles published. All the persons are published few articles. Okay, and citations. I can have a many citations. I can have a many citations. That means all his papers got cited. All his papers got cited. Here, all his papers not got cited. Only 4 papers are not cited in the case of author 7. In the case of author 8, again, the citation is less. So I'm making another thing, citations, many, many, few. Citation distribution. distributions are closely distributed. That means 3 papers alone have highest, widely distributed, closely distributed. I hope so. You can differentiate the citations that are closely distributed, widely distributed, another one. Another one is H-core. H-core is my H-index papers. How many papers a person got? What is the H-index of that person? What are the total citations of that H-index papers? That means in the case of first person, all these 7 article citation alone taken into account. Out of the 200 is 81 citations are on the 7 papers. Likewise, we can individualize it. Okay, let us proceed a little bit depth on this. This paved way for various indices. Standard bibliometric indicators such as the number of publications during the study period, number of citations during the study period, and average citation per paper, CPP, have a number of limitations. The H-index, G-index describes the most productive core of the output of researchers and inform about the number of papers in the core. The H-index, also known as a Hirsch index, is supposed to measure the broad impact of the individual scientist and to avoid all the disadvantages. Online databases such as Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholars provides the H-index. No need for me to calculate. I can go for Google Scholar. I can find out what is my H-index that we will discuss later on. Other indexes such as A-index depict the impact of the papers in the core. These are essentially necessary to identify what are the different types of indexes. We can have H-index, G-index, A-index, normalized H-index, R-index, AR-index, E-index, HG-index, P-index, I-10 index, W-index, HW-index, W-index. All these are essentially to be known. Not necessary, I can calculate. H-core citation already we know. It is the total number of citation the H-index paper received. H5 index is next 5 years. All this depend upon the H factor up to the instead of last 2, richness index and reach index. All the indexes are depend upon the H index or some other factors related to H index. Therefore, the other 2 indexes started coming up. That also we will see little bit later on. For each one, there is a formula. The development of various indexes over the years can be seen that one is H index in 2005, G index 2006. These 2 are a methodology that we have discussed. The G index, we will discuss that. A index is the total number of citation of H index papers divided by H. Normalized H index, that is a formula. All this H indicates that it is a H index. You can find all the formulas are related to the word H. Okay, except R and AR index. Therefore, remaining indexes are dependent upon the H index, one way or rather. Okay, whereas the R index and the AR index is not related to H index. Now, it does not have any impact. H index does not have any impact on these 2 things. Okay, now we'll go for method of calculating G index. The H index already we know it is developed in the year 2005. We have seen what are the limitations. Therefore, the another person devises the G index. G index is here the paper and cited by is given in our first two columns. The papers are squared in the second column, for third column. In the fourth column, the cumulative index is created. Cumulative citations, I can say cumulative citations. That means 35 in the first paper, 34, it is provided total as a 69. Third paper, 69 plus 33, 102. Likewise, it is going on. The papers are squared. There I can find as like that of comparing the H index. Here also I'm making a comparison. The comparison is 18 papers have matching 324 and 322. That means the G index is number of papers. Number of papers. There is another table. Sorry. which indicates H index, G index, number of papers, citation, P index, HG index, all these things. H index 10, G index is 18. Number of papers, you can have a 21. Total citations, you can find something 322. And I'm having a P index, HG index. So you can find the difference of H index, other indexes over H index. So I can say G index must be greater than H index. Naturally, it may be. Similarly, P index, HG, all the other indexes more than that. Now, various indexes calculated values are shown for the year 7 things. The 7 authors paper that we have seen previously. You can find that H core citation and other things. You can find out which one is good by making use of this. I hope so. You can find the person D as somewhat impressive performance on their publications. It is followed by, you can say that A or B or E or F like that. I'm having H index, G index, A index, R index, and how to calculate A index, G, R index. I already provided the formula and other things. Besides that, there are other metrics for calculating it. One is a journal metrics. Journal metrics aims to measure the quality or standard of journals. The foremost journal matrix is impact factor, what we have seen, highly dependent on the academic discipline, possibly on the speed with which papers get cited in the field. Was introduced in the year 1975 by Eugene Garfield for those journals indexed in Journal Citation Report. The other metrics used to measure the quality of journals are immediacy index, cited off-life, aggregated impact factor, agent factor scores, article influence score, H5 index. H5 index is H index for last 5 years publication. That means if I want to find out what is the H index of this year, 2020, I will take 5 years. That is 2016 to 2015 to 2020. They are SJR indicator. It is provided globally. SNIP also provided. This is for Journal of Metrics. I can have author metrics. Author metrics is it measures the research impact of scholarly publications by respective authors. The major author metrics parameters were citations, the number of times cited in the literature, usage, number of times viewed on a website, number of times downloaded, how often the supplemental data has been accessed, capture, how often it has been bookmarked, shared. Okay, manly, site you like that. Mentions, number of times blogged about, how many news stories, mentions in Wikipedia, etc. Comments on publishers' website and elsewhere. Social media, Facebook share, likes, LinkedIn shares, tweets. H index, a scientist has H index of H of his NP papers have at least H citation. Number of papers, NP papers is number of papers have at least H citation each, and others NPH papers have no more than H citation each. That means if I'm having H index, my other papers will have a less than that H index citation. G index, given that a set of articles ranked in the descending order and the number of citations that they have received, G index is a unique largest number such as the top 3 articles received together at least G squared citations. I-10 index, I-10 index indicates that number of academic publication an author has written that have at least 10 citations from others. If I'm writing 12 papers which has more than 10 citations, my I-10 index is 12. H-core. The H-core of a publication is a set of top cited H articles from the publication. H-median. H-median of the publication is the median of the citation content in its H-core. H5 index, H5 core, H5 median. These indicators of publication are respectively the H index, H core, and H median of only those of its articles that were published in the last 5 completed calendar years. After that, we can have article level metrics. Article level metrics are metrics for measuring the usage and impact of individual research articles. Article level metrics, unlike journals or author metrics, did not focus on journals or authors, but on the individual articles. This is related to, but distinct from, altmetrics. The open access publisher, PLOS, provides article level metrics for all its journals, including download, citations, and altmetrics. Altmetrics. The term altmetrics was proposed in 2010 as a generalization of article level metrics. Although the altmetrics are often thought of as metrics about article, they can also apply to people, journals, books, datasets, presentations, videos, source code, repositories, web page, etc. They are related to webometrics, which had similar goals but evolved before the social web. Altmetrics, the definitions are given, a record of attention. Number of people have been exposed to and engaged with a scholarly output, mentioned in the news, blogs, and on Twitter, article page views and the downloads. There is a hub repository, watches. A measure of dissemination enables to understand where and why a piece of research is being discussed and shared, both among other scholars and in the public sphere. Coverage in the news, social sharing, blog features, and indicators of influence on impact. It signals that a research is changing a field of study, the public health, or having any other number of tangible effects upon large society. References in public policy documents, commentary from experts and practitioners. Even if I am sending a WhatsApp or some in Twitter or anything else, I am expecting for how many of them are liking it, how much of them I'm getting reply. All this is an impact. For example, already I told you that if your paper is cited by somebody, you feel enjoyed. You will find that my paper is cited by this person, and that person may be a big person. You say that he has appreciated my paper. This is the impact of your citations. Altmetrics, there are advantages, there are disadvantages. Advantages are they are quicker to accumulate than citation-based metrics. They can capture more diverse impact than citation-based metrics. They apply to more than journal articles and books. Limitations, it does not provide full dimension of research. It is not a replacement for peer review and a citation-based metrics. Here, I have provided not yet twice. That means the stress, it is not a replacement for peer review citation-based metrics. For example, we used to say, yes, I know there's a time that I have to log in like that. Like any metrics, there is a potential for gaming of altmetrics. Altmetrics are relatively new, more research into this is needed. There are tools for altmetrics, impact story, reader meter, science card, plus impact explorer, paper critic, crowdometer. There are online indicators. The use of bibliometric indicators, academic decision making, funding, accreditation, tenure, promotion, or recruitment has produced some negative as well as some effect. Science policy makers made an attempt to endorse bibliometric indicators to simplify the hard work of evaluating the performance. The values of this approach is currently being debated, with guidelines being proposed about the type of indicators that would be useful in different contexts. These are the views of the person. Wilson stated the last view, the value of this approach. Online academic profiles such as Amner, Microsoft, Academic Search, Google Scholar, Citation, Research ID, or online academic profiles. Academic social networks like Mendeley, academy.edu, ResearchGate became an accepted part of academic landscape. I hope so many of you may be familiar with all these things. Some provides a range of metrics for both authors and articles. And assuming that these metrics are used, it is important to understand their key properties. All this, already I told you the impact of H index in other formulas. There are necessary as a need for new devices. there was usually more than one author for each publication. The citation may have from any one of the authors. So if you are a first author and you are a popular person be another author, the citation may be because of the second author or because of your contribution. So it is very difficult to classify because of which person the citation has been obtained. If I'm writing an article, naturally I will look into the pioneers in that field and quote those persons. My paper gets citation only because of the pioneers, not because of my contributions. Okay, author may use a different analysis tool and techniques for their analysis. These tools and techniques may be an impact of fetching the citations. The tools and techniques may be an impact of it. The author may use a different analysis tools and techniques for that analysis. These tools and techniques may have an impact of fetching the citation. The publication may be published in a journal which has high impact factor. So 25% of the most highly cited articles can account for 90% of journal impact factor. So I will look into the impact factor of a journal and I will cite that paper. You can find that this thing is the impact is quoted in this article Nature in 2002 itself. The references may be included for the sake of inclusion for current publications. The references may be included for the sake of inclusion for current publication. As soon as my gate says, while I'm providing a draft paper, please include some references. Naturally, I will include the references. It might not have been used by me, but because of coercion, I am including that. Not coercion. Naturally, the research papers are expected to have references. Currently, the databases that includes the publications such as Scopus, IEEE, ProQuest, EBSCO, etc., has also impact on citation. Organization in which the author belongs to also influences the citation. Organization in which the author belongs to also influences the citation. Suppose if I am publishing a paper, my paper might have been got cited because of an university. Likewise, IIT authors paper naturally maybe get cited. So the citation maybe. I'm not it is an example for stating that the citation is based on the organization too. This necessitates as myself and a librarian of Gandhigram Rural University they designed a few formulas. One is a research percentage, research activity index. Here we are taking the total citations into cover, number of reached by total publications in all institutions, total publication of all the institutions. For institution, for individual author, other things. Unreached and reach activity index. Unreached activity index. My papers are not reached. I'm identifying what is the reason for that. Then again, one is richness factor index. My paper got a richness factor means I'm calculating that richness factor. There are 4 formulas for richness and 4 formulas for this. It has a somewhat measurable for identifying the index of this. The comparison of these indexes with other index. Various indexes, it is based on citation alone. RF index is based on citation, age of the paper, and number of authors. For example, if I might have been published a paper in 1945, and that paper gets cited till date, it means that paper is a base paper. Okay, it may not be on all the domains. For example, in the case of medical domain, the age of paper is matters. If a paper on a particular thing, activity or particular thing, that may be useful, but the age of the paper matters, whereas RF index provides some age of the paper. Calculation based on one variable. In the case of various indexes, calculation was based on several variables, such as there are so many things that we'll see that. Citation and cited papers alone taken into consideration. That's only partial paper and partial citations alone. That means in the H index, I'm identifying only H papers are got cited, H number of citations. Besides, other citations are ignored. Uncited papers are not considered at all. That means if a person provided 230 papers and is 20 papers alone cited, the remaining papers, uncited papers, what is the reason why it has? That type of evaluation may not be there in the case of indexes. It considered as in the case of RF index, it considered total citation and uncited papers also into consideration. Total papers published were not considered. Total published papers were considered. We have seen one example, 21 papers, out of which 4 papers are not at all received any citation. While carrying out this RF index, we are taking into account that papers too, finding out the impact of the author. Index values were of increasing nature. Index values are get increased or decreased. Number of co-authors are not considered. Number of co-authors also can't consider. Position of the co-author does not matter. Position of the co-author matters. Suppose if a pioneer is a first author, his paper will get cited more. If the pioneer is a fourth author, fifth author, it may not be having that much of weightage. Here, in the case of various matrices, equal weightage were given for all authors. Whereas in the case of index, RF index, no equal weightage given for author. That means author position is taken into account. First author, second author. If I'm published as a fifth author paper, I am given weightage as a lowest thing. One is highest and the other thing. Once high index value is obtained, it will not get reduced and will be everlasting in the case of various indexes. Already stated that if a person got H index of 33 in the age of 30 itself, his H index even at the age of 60, it may be 33. It can't get reduced. Okay. Whereas in the case of our index, the index value depends on number of authors, age of a paper, number of co-authors. Continuous effort may not necessary in the case of variant index. Once I've got a H index of 33, no need for me to publish the papers at all. I can say that I'm having a H index. No need for me to bother about how to provide a publication in a rich journals. Whereas in the case of RF index, a continuous effort is mandatory to retain the value. I have not described how the richness factor and research factors are calculated. That the reason is we are concentrating more on H index and other things. Factors, richness factors and citation factors. The richness factors, age of the paper is considered, the citation rank not considered, other things. Citation considered, number of authors considered and not considered. Therefore, in the richness factor, age of the paper, citation, number of authors are considered, whereas others are not considered. If there are so much of indexes, how I can calculate manually? For that, we have a one Excel sheet. Myself and the librarian of NIFT, National Institute of Fashion Technology, namesake, developed an Excel model stating that if I am providing the H index, G index, number of papers, and number of citations, automatically it calculates all other indexes. What are the things that I have listed? There is a model developed, and it will be enable you to calculate all the indexes. If time permits, I will show you that model also, and at the end of the session. So the calculation of H and other indexes does not, it's not a matter at all. You can have a Excel sheet and you provide H index, G index. The thing is H index and G index, no other alternative. We have to provide only manually as far as my knowledge goes. The number of papers and the total number of citations, I know there are I have to find out that. How to find out that also there are, databases. Google Scholar provides everything. That also we'll see that one. Therefore, it is essential that we must have a knowledge about all the indexes. For this, let us see one incident. Once, a teacher of 5th standard asked to develop a program for simple internet for all his students. All the students state that the program is running fine. The algorithm is correct, the program is executing it. The teacher wants to test whether the programming is providing exactly the result. So they called the first person and asked to run the program. So a simple interest formula. Therefore, you provided the data, 1,000 rupees, 10%, 1 year. That person's program shows 1 rupee as an interest. Whether the program is correct. So even the program runs, we must be in a position to check. Even my Excel sheet provides the H index and other things, other G index or other indexes as a A index or index. I must be in a position to find out whether the output is correct or not. Out of the 10% checked by the teacher, only 1% program provided exactly the interest, simple interest for this 1,000 rupees, 10 years, 1 year. That means all the programs are running fine, but it has a limitations. These are the major things. Now, I'm going to the Google Scholar, the third concept. The Google Scholar provides a simple way to broadly search for scholarly literature. There's a reason why we are using that. From one place, you can reach scores, many disciplines and sources, articles, these theses, books, abstract and quote opinions from academic publishers, professional societies, online repositories, universities, and other websites. Google is it has a great impact. Whenever I am going for a search engine, we will prefer Google. Out of that, Google Scholar is one component. Google Scholar helps you to find relevant work across the world of scholarly research. Instead of providing text matters, I'm going by how to make use of the Google Scholar. So if you go to the Google, and that if you are providing a Google Scholar, you can find the first thing as a Google Scholar. If you click that, you can get a home page like this, what you are seeing on the screen. In that, type your name. I'm typing my name, Gopalakrishnan. Immediately, I can find a number of articles. There you can find a user profile as this. All these articles are not mine. So what I'm doing it, I'm clicking my profile. I'm clicking my profile in the screen. So it may be clear. My profile. Okay, the articles that are listed, it's not mine. I'm clicking my profile. Automatically, I will get my mail information. I'm clicking my mail information, googlelong@gmail.com. Immediately, I will get a screen like this. Okay, my name and my name, the other things you have to provide. My photo is there, my name will be there, the designation and other things you have to provide that. I can find all my articles below this, and I can find my H index. How many citations? I have my citation 418 citations. My H index is 10. Since 2015, my H index is 8. I-10 index is 12, 6. My citations after this 2013, I got this. I'm proud to say that my papers are still referred. It may be because of me or maybe because of my co-authors. One impressive thing is, even if I got retired in the year 2013, I can find my papers are still referred. That means it indicates worthiness of the paper. Again, it may be due to the co-author or due to the paper in which it appears in the journal. For example, the first article, Mapping of Nanoscience and Nanotechnology Research India, a scientometric analysis for nearly, I think 10 plus 9, 19 years. This is authored by 4 persons, and there may be any one of the 4 persons, or the journal is published in Scientometrics. That may be an impact. Okay. The next one is ICT Skills. Is a paper published in an Indian journal, which has a 52. The year of publication, 2011, first paper. Second paper, 2007. I can find this. So no need for you to bother about how to calculate H index. If any of the paper is not yours, if you can tick this box, and if you are asked to remove that one, automatically you can find your H index is calculated accordingly. If you have the facility of using Google, go to the Google Scholar, provide your name, you can find find so many things. You provide my profile, immediately ask for mail, and you can find all your papers. All your papers. If any of the paper is not yours, if you ask to delete that, you can find a graph indicating the citations of the last 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, and you can find citations. Probably the citation may be only from 2013 or 2014. Okay, this again you can find H index, other things. I hope so. Now you are capable of identifying what is your H index, what is your item index, and how to find out use a Google Scholar. Likewise, there are other things. The Google maybe have a limitation that the coverage may be little bit, okay, less or maybe more. Similarly, the Arched and other things also provide, ResearchGate is also providing this type of information. So Google Scholar is a freely accessible web search engine that indexes the full text or metadata of scholarly literature across an array of publishing formats and disciplines. Released in beta in November 2000, beta version November 2004, the Google Scholar Index includes most peer-reviewed online academic journals. Google Scholar Index includes most peer-reviewed online academic journals and books, conference papers, theses, and dissertation, preprints, abstracts, technical reports, and other scholarly literature, including court opinion and patents. While Google does not publish any size of the Google Scholars database, scientometric researchers established it to contain roughly 389 million documents, including articles, citations, patents, making it the world's largest academic search engine in January 2018. If I want to find out who are the persons cited my papers, I can identify that. If 101, a previous screen, you can find that 107 papers cited. I can find out who are the persons cited my papers by this. So Google Scholar provides. Normally, if I'm doing it manually, it is very difficult for us to find out who are the persons cited. Now, of course, there are other sites that provide which country your paper has been cited, which part of the country, how much it is cited, how much it is downloaded. All these details are provided in the web itself. So the Google, let us go to the history of the Google. Google Scholar arose out of a discussion between two persons, both of whom were then working on building Google's main web index. You can find the second person name Anuragacharya. This goal was to make the world problems solver 10% more efficient by allowing easier and more accurate access to scientific knowledge. This goal is reflected in the Google Scholar advertising slogan, "Stand on the shoulders of giants," taken from a quote by Holy Bernard of Chartres, and it is not to the scholars who have contributed to their field over the centuries, providing the foundation of a new intellectual achievements. In 2006, the citation importing feature was implemented, supporting bibliographic managers such as reference work, RefMan, EndNote, BibTeX. Google Scholar citation. Google Scholar citations provide a simple way for authors to keep track of citation to their articles. You can check who is citing your publication, graph citations over time, and compute several citation metrics. You can also make your profile public so that it may appear in Google Scholar results when people search for your name. You can say, if I'm seeing my photo in a Google citation and all my papers in a Google Scholar, I'm a little bit astonished how they are collecting it. It is a little bit proud for me to show to so many persons that I got a H index of 10. Even if you look into that, unfortunately, you may not be knowing that your papers have been referred and your H index is more. You can proudly say that your H index is this. Okay. Suppose at the time of evaluating your performance by the authorities, they said that your H index is this. but you may be having H index more. You can adjudicate that your paper is, your H index is this. You can have a proof for this. Google Scholar citation, best of all, it is quick to set up and simple to maintain. Even if you have written hundreds of articles, and even if your name is shared by several different scholars, you can add a group of related articles, not just one article at a time. And your citation metrics are computed and updated automatically. A Google Scholar finds a new citation to your work on the web. You can choose to have your list of articles updated automatically, or review the updates yourself, or to manually update your article at a time. With this, I also I'm concluding my discussion. Of course, I got to share one more. The features of the Google Scholar. Search all scholarly literature from one convenient place. Sitting on your desktop, clicking on a mouse, you can find all your literature, scholarly literatures. Not only the cited, you can now use for getting a new articles on the same thing. Explore related works, citations, author, and publication. Locate the complete document through your library on the web. Keep up with the recent developments in any area of research. Check who is citing your publication. Create a public author profile. These are the features that are available. Thank you for the opportunity. And how the documents are ranked, I can see in that one. How to sign up is also shown. Already I described that as sign up. You can add your photos and other things. Thank you very much. Thanks to the organizers and also the supporting Miles Education as well as the Wiley publishers for making this program, little bit successful. Thank you very much for making successful, for making my presentation. Since we know one thing, that is all the things have a limitations. Internet Explorer, all these things, all this overcome by this Miles Education.